powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. He's our powers magnified, and he's fighting on the planet side. Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. Gonna help him put asunder bad guys who like to loot and plunder.
You'll pay for this, Captain Planet.
We're the Planeteers. You can be one too. Cause saving our planet is the thing to do. Looting and polluting is not the way. Hear what Captain Planet has to say.
The power is yours!
All right. So the big trending topic yesterday was this 16-year-old Swedish girl. And holy fuck, I watched her speech or whatever she gave at this climate change summit in New York, and it was very annoying to watch. Like I just wanted to like punch this little kid. I think she was saying, where should we start? I mean, I could just start with, I guess, this bullshit.
This is all wrong.
This is
I
all
shouldn't
wrong.
be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean.
Like her whole like delivery, what, the way she delivers these lines, man, it fucking annoys me. I don't know. Everything about this girl's mannerisms just irritates.
Yet you all come to us young people.
Like her like she squints one fucking eye more than the other. That irritates me. Her cadence, the tone of her voice.
For hope. How dare you?
How dare ye? Look at this fucking shit. Like, she's fucking contorting her face like she's twisting it all up here on this side. What the fuck is that?
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. And yet, I'm one of the lucky ones.
What the fuck is she talking about? Who stole her dreams, her childhood? This is all, like, dramatic, emotional shit, right? How dare you?
People are suffering.
People
are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
How dare you?
For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear.
Okay, so why can't we just hear about the science, you know? I was talking to someone last night that was defending this, like, climate change thing. And she kept repeating about, 99% of scientists agree. And I'm like, okay, well, great, 99% of scientists agree, great. So what evidence is there that humans are causing climate change? And you just get fucking silence because the media doesn't present any evidence. You know, the media just presents these fallacious arguments like 99% of scientists agree. And that's all the shit people remember. People are so convinced that humans cause climate change, but yet they don't understand anything about it. And they're relying on expert opinions. So, you know, when you're in a situation where you have to rely on an expert and you can't, like, verify for yourself, you can't make heads or tails of the situation. For example, let's say you go to an auto mechanic, your car's broke down, and you don't know anything about cars. Well, this auto mechanic could just spin you all sorts of fairy tales and crap, say this is broken, I need to fix this, I gotta replace that. you can't challenge them, or you don't know. For all you know that they're telling you the truth. You have to rely on this expert, and they're going to scam you out of money. Same thing's going to happen if you rely on these expert scientists to tell you that, 100 years from now, the world's going to change or, be devastated. So we got to change the way we're living and reduce our carbon footprints to save some future that doesn't exist. You're going to be taken advantage of.
How dare you continue to look away?
And that's another thing. It's like, why is this like 16-year-old child becoming so popular? Like, why isn't there a scientist who can present facts and evidence and logical arguments? No, it's this emotional argument from this little girl.
And come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight. You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe.
You would be evil if you knew about the truth that I believe in, and I'm just gonna force everyone to believe this truth because I'm gonna pretend like it's objective, since 99% of scientists agree. If you don't agree with me, you're evil. See, this is the mentality that they're brainwashing into children through the education system, sort of like Chairman Mao's youth, Hitler youth, stuff like that. We're gonna see a future of like young generations who are going to be blaming the old people for destroying the planet and potentially euthanizing them for depopulation to save the planet. Yes, genocide, depopulation, clap, applause.
The popular idea of cutting our emissions in half in 10 years only gives us a 50% chance of staying below 1.5 degrees and the risk of setting off irreversible chain reactions beyond human control.
Oh, interesting. She's talking about cutting our emissions in the next 10 years only gives us a 50% chance to prevent climate change. Yet, the person I was arguing with last night, it was brought up about how this is a doomsday cult. They're saying like, within 10 years, everything's going to go to shit. She's like, oh, that's a straw man argument. No one says the world's going to end in 10 years. But look, she just said if we don't reduce our carbon footprint in 10 years or whatever, like there's going to be drastic results that will be irreversible, blah, blah, blah. So the people who are defending this stuff, they don't even understand what the hell's going on. But they just defend it and believe in it. Like I was just arguing with this person last night. There's no way you're going to change their mind. They're completely taken by the propaganda. Their mind is gone. They don't think about things.
50% may be acceptable to you, but those numbers do not include tipping points, most feedback loops, additional warming hidden by toxic air pollution, or the aspects of equity.
Additional warming hidden by toxic air. What the fuck?
And climate justice.
Climate
they also
justice.
rely on my generation sucking hundreds of billions of tons of your CO2 out of the air with technologies that barely exist.
That's the thing, dude. It's like, right now it seems like this climate change is a huge issue or whatever, but for all we know, in like 10, 20 years, there could exist some technology that solves all these problems, right? For example, I bet, in 1850 in New York City, they're like, what are we going to do with all this horse shit in the street? Because they were, horse and buggy cars hadn't been invented. They're going to be like, man, in the future, there's going to be so much horse shit in New York. Like, we're going to have an issue. We're going to have a problem. What are we going to do about this problem? Little did they know that cars would be invented and there would be no horse shit in New York. It would just be human shit.
So a 50% risk is simply not acceptable to us, we who have to live with the consequences. How dare you pretend that this can be sold with just business as usual and
How many times has she said, how dare you? How dare you? God, I fucking hate that phrase.
some technical solutions?
It's like fucking pretentious shit.
With today's emissions levels, that remaining CO2 budget will be entirely gone within less than 8.5 years.
Oh no, I guess you guys get the idea, right? Like, fuck. Their fucking faces she's making. And then, like, she's so dramatic the way she's emphasizing words and all this shit. It's just ridiculous. And then, apparently it's a big deal. Like, she stared at Trump or something. Like, what the fuck? These are getting, like, 40,000 views. Like, what is this? How does this get 50,000 views? What is this? Why does this have 50,000 views? Greta Thunberg stares down Trump at the UN General Assembly. I gotta see that. Man, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so fucking awesome. Bitter enemies, rivals. She just stands. That's how I looked, dude. She's like standing there, with her arms crossed. That's exactly what I did to Ron Paul at the Rally for the Republic. I wonder if that's fucking on YouTube. Da da da. Yeah, here it is. I was here. I was there. I was like right in the front. And like everyone fucking loved him, dude. And I just stood there like fucking Greta here, like this, like just staring at him with my arms folded across my chest. The only time I clapped was when he talked about legalizing drugs. So it was fucking just like a stoner, like, yeah, drugs legal, freedom. I didn't realize the whole scope of, like, yeah, they're brainwashing us to think drugs are cool and shit because it enhances the effects of the propaganda.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think he noticed me too because I was right in the fucking front standing section, and I was the only person in the crowd who wasn't just like totally brainwashed thinking he was my savior. I was just standing there with my arms crossed staring at him, not really reacting much. This is in Target Center.
Thank you. Thank you.
But anyways, fucking piece of shit.
Thank you. That's it.
Anyways, I don't know why this is such a cool video. I don't get... This is like nothing. Okay. Anyway, she's like trending, so any video about her is gonna blow up. I should put Greta Thunberg in the fucking title. Should I just do that now? So this is how you YouTube, guys. You get the clickbait in there. What's memeing? What's memeing? What's popular? I can trendy. I can talk about and get views and clicks and get $1 million. Cause I read on mainstream media that you can get rich on YouTube. Yeah, Greta Thunberg. Yeah, that'll get me more clicks. Yeah. Actually, it won't, cause like if you fucking search Greta Thunberg, it's gonna be all mainstream media. So yeah, that's probably a waste of fucking time. So I thought this was interesting. This shit here. I should just play this.
Far worse for the environment than the regular meat-filled diets. They increase emissions, they increase energy use, they increase water use. But none of that matters because the climate hysteria movement is not about science. If it were about science, it would be led by scientists rather than by politicians and a mentally ill Swedish child who is being exploited by her parents and by the international left.
Dare you?
And then he said, "How dare you?" It's like he stole their fucking line. But I think that was a good point. And the guy's like, "How dare you?" That's a good point. Like, why is the climate change movement Why is the figurehead of the climate change movement a 16-year-old girl who doesn't know jack shit about science? Why isn't it a scientist that can explain to us, with evidence, experiments, or whatever the fuck, some sort of proof that humans are responsible for climate change? Where's that shit? Like, I don't even know. I'm sure it's out there, but it's probably like so complex that it's hard for a layman to understand, so they use these logical fallacy arguments like 99% of scientists agree, the science is in, there's no time for debate. No. I beg to differ. I think there is time for debate. I want to know what the fuck's going on, Yeah, keep going with this. However, whoops. So yeah, he called her a mentally ill child, and the guy's like, "How dare you?"
Numbers are too uncomfortable, and you are still not mature enough to tell it like it is.
16-year-old girl is telling world leaders they're not mature. Yeah.
You are failing us. But the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you.
We will never forgive you. God, it's so dramatic. Fucking, they won't forgive us. You know what they're going to do? When they grow up, they're going to put us all to death to save the climate.
She's trying to do what you think is right. And by the way, now relax, skinny boy.
Skinny boy. You can't make fun of a child, skinny boy.
You're attacking a child. You're a grown man. Have some couth.
I'm not. I'm attacking.
Have some couth.
Maybe on your podcast, you get away and say whatever you want because nobody's listening. You're on national television. Be a grown-up when you're talking about children.
Be a grown-up when you're talking about children. Be a grown-up when you're talking about children.
Anyone else find that chilling?
A time of tribulation has come. A test is at hand.
I can't wait for Stephen King's sequel, Children of the Climate.
There's reports now in
See, now that was a pretty funny joke. That was a funny joke, but like you can't make fun of children apparently.
Europe, where kids are getting...
You can't make fun of niggas, you can't make fun of women, children, minorities, retards. What can we make fun of? Like white males. We can make fun of white males, we can make fun of Trump, and then everything else you cannot make fun of.
Anxiety medication, they believe they're going to die. She is the Greta effect. She's causing and instilling fear in millions of kids around the world and actually has them believing that government can legislate our climate. In other words, if we pass the Green New Deal in America, these kids can all go back to...
The Green New Deal is horrific, by the way. So Jay Dyer makes some good points here.
Probably a month or two ago. I didn't even know who this was, why this mattered, and I remember Tristan was talking about it. I was like, who is this girl? Who cares what some... I thought she's like a 10-year-old. Oh, it turns out she's actually almost an adult because that was by design, by the way, because that way nobody can make fun of her, criticize her, because then all the idiot boomer liberals who actually came after me on my social media, they were like, why are you making fun of a kid? That's unbelievable. I can't believe you would make fun of a kid. And meanwhile, the system promotes pedophilia. But don't make a joke about a kid.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's not.
Nope, just
she's
rape
not
them.
10. She's actually 16, almost.
Yeah, and let's not talk about Hollywood pedophilia or Epstein or any of that. Yeah, don't make fun of children. Let's just molest them quietly behind closed doors. Someone else. Oh my god, these fucking people. It's like endless on the internet. It's just endless shit posting, talking shit to each other. This is the 2 minutes of hate. Like people are just frustrated by living these controlled, wretched existences, and so this is all the shit posting. Is like they're taking out that we won't get fooled again. Holy fuck. So much shit posting. I'm trying to find this. Some woman in here was talking shit to me. for making fun of a child. I think we're close. Jesus Christ. People type a lot. Yeah, here we go. Armageddon. I posted this shit. What? It's not very big for the screen. It says, "Don't be a climate denier. How dare you? People are dying. You've stolen my childhood." Data don't lie. Multiple studies. Highly processed meats are carcinogenic. She's trying to argue like not to eat. I was like, man, one of these solutions to climate change is like it's gonna be like don't eat meat. It's not about saving the planet. It's about controlling how we live our lives, obviously. I just don't think we need to make fun of a girl. Just a bunch of bullies. Horrible propaganda or not. She's just a child. Like, it doesn't matter if fucking Hitler and Chairman Mao are exploiting children to push propaganda. Oh, that doesn't matter. You can't make fun of that. You can't make fun of that. That's a girl. Oh my God, you're making fun of a child? Adult men who are grown shouldn't bully a child because that's beneath the conduct of an adult. See, this is the society where we live in, where you can't shame people. You can't go like, you're fat. You can't go what? I don't know, whatever. You can't criticize anyone. It's wrong to criticize people. People are allowed to just do whatever the fuck they want. You know, moral relativity does, and fucking everything's. There's no taboos, and don't shame people. Don't slut shame people. So we can do whatever we want and not feel like we're being judged. Well, you know, I think society would be better if we maybe had some shame, because people having no shame is not a good thing, because then they won't be ashamed of being ignorant. They won't be ashamed of being sluts. They won't be ashamed of being drug addicts. They won't be ashamed of being fat pieces of shit. You know, you need some shame. It's there is a positive side of bullying, actually. That behavior is beneath me. It's childish and awful. She's a kid. We all say or do things as kids that we as adults look back and often, but that doesn't mean we should troll her constantly for it. What does it reflect on us? It reflects that we cannot have a conversation. It reflects that we hate the ideas of others so much that we can't have civil discourse. Yeah, I do hate the idea of this climate change, because it's going to lead to like depopulation, eugenics, and austerity. It means we have truly failed as a society because we encourage hate and horrible treatment to other beings who have no reason to be treated as such. But that's what the whole climate change is about. They're hating people who eat meat. They're hating people that drive cars. I'm ashamed of the American flag next to my name because my country is disgusting with this divisive rhetoric and the hatred coming from both sides. That's not why your country's disgusting. Do you even, like, the people, they don't even understand American foreign policy. They don't understand what, like, the CIA is doing in other countries. You know, like, fucking Iran-Contra, they were bombing school buildings, our government, in other countries. Yeah, so, maybe you should be disgusted by that and not, like, divisive rhetoric. As for my idea of freedom, marry. Look at this is the fucking retard slave's idea of freedom. All right. Oh my God. Marry who you want. Fuck who you want. Minus children and animals. Okay. So we can marry and fuck whoever, but we can't fuck children or animals. Okay. It's freedom. It's like the first thing she thinks about is her fucking genitals. Ingest and consume what you want. Okay, now it's like drugs. As long as there are proper regulations to make sure you don't get sick. What? I love this freedom. We should have freedom to do whatever we want as long as there are proper regulations by the government put in place to make sure we are all safe and we don't harm ourselves. Because the government is there to make the world a safe place that we can never die or get sick or be... Nothing bad will ever happen. I hate everything bad. And say what you want, provided you understand libel slander laws. I wonder if she understands libel and slander laws. I also don't give a fuck if you own an Abrams tank. Just make sure you have full capacity wheel switch weapon. You can own whatever you want. Just you have background checks and all this shit. This is her idea of freedom. It's like drugs, sex, guns, and then we got free speech in there, but you can't slander. Okay. I only think of freedom. I think of drugs, sex, and guns. Yeah, okay. Oh my god, we're fucking doomed. We are fucking doomed. So like this is really interesting. They're using children. Like there was David Hogg too, right? So like why are children the head of all these fucking
I am not comparing
movements?
David Hogg to Hitler Youth at all. No comparison other than the hand and the armband thing. That's the only thing, but it's incidental in the gun control. That's it.
So yeah, I think it should be pretty eye-opening that these children are being used to push these political agendas as propaganda. Like, why not adults? Why not scientists? You know, and with propaganda, the goal of propaganda is to bypass your logic and reason and appeal to your emotions. And once you're emotional about a topic, then you're not going to think logical, rationally about it, right? And that's the goal of the propagandists. So they intentionally use these children because I think children tug on the heartstrings and play to our emotions. And also, you can't criticize a child like you see with this. Oh, if you criticize Greta, how dare you say that about a child? You're bullying a child. So if they use children, then we can't argue again. It's like it's a way to avoid debate. It's pretty good tactic, right? Where was I gonna go from here? Well, I don't really know how to argue against the science of climate change, but I don't really see the media is not really promoting the science. They're just promoting logical fallacies and these appeals to emotion. So I wish I spent more time like researching the science behind global warming as opposed to researching the science behind the shape of the earth, because it would probably be a lot more useful for what's coming down in the future to know, so I could argue better. But I do know my arguments against this climate change thing would we got Eisenhower's farewell address, right? This is 1961, and he says in here he's like famous for talking about the military-industrial complex, which is also something people should take note of. This president went on television and warned our country about the military-industrial complex, and as soon as he left office, we've been in these perpetual wars. So it's like no one listened to him, right? Everything he said is coming to pass, but no one listened to him. And this just goes to show you that people are not going to wake up, that the alternative media is a joke. If the president of the United States can go on television and warn people about military-industrial complex and the scientific elite, and then people just let themselves be lied into endless wars after that. I mean, I don't think some fucking jerk off with a popular podcast is going to make a difference. If the president can't make a difference, going on national TV saying the truth, it doesn't matter. People are just asleep or whatever. They're brainwashed. They're indoctrinated. So in this speech, he talked about he warned of, the prospect of the domination of science through federal funding, and conversely, the domination of science-based public policy by what he called a scientific technological elite. Now, there is a scientific technological elite. We live in a scientific dictatorship, as described by Bertrand Russell and Aldous Huxley. You see here Bertrand Russell, The Scientific Outlook. In like manner, the scientific rulers will provide one kind of education for ordinary men and women, and another for those who are to become holders of scientific power. So yes, we live in a scientific dictatorship with a scientific elite that are now using science-based public policy in the form of climate change to control us. Pretty obvious. We can go into more shit. We got some more things. We got Zbigniew Brzezinski here saying, another threat, less overt, but no less basic, confronts liberal democracy. More directly linked to the impact of technology, it involves the gradual appearance of a more controlled and directed society. Such a society would be dominated by an elite whose claim to political power would rest on allegedly superior scientific know-how, climate change. Unhindered by the restraints of traditional liberal values, this elite would not hesitate to achieve its political ends by using the latest modern techniques for influencing public behavior and keeping society under close surveillance and control. Internet! And this fucking Greta girl, right? Like they're using the latest techniques, with pushing this Greta girl all over the internet, on the search engines. She was trending on Twitter. Right there. Under such circumstances, the scientific and technological momentum of the country would not be reversed, but would actually feed on the situation exploits. Persisting social crisis, which would be climate change and mass shootings, the emergence of charismatic personality like Greta, like David Hogg, the exploitation of mass media to obtain public confidence would be the stepping stones in the piecemeal transformation of the United States into a highly controlled society. And he also talks about the technotronic era involves the gradual appearance of a more controlled society. Such a society would be dominated by an elite unrestrained by tradition. Oh, wait, this isn't the one I was looking for. Where's one? Yeah, here it is. In the technotronic society, the trend would seem to be towards the aggregation of the individual support of millions of uncoordinated citizens, Area 51, easily within the reach of magnetic and attractive personalities exploiting the latest communication techniques to manipulate emotions and control reason, Area 51. Greta, you see this? You see Greta? She's manipulating your emotions. David Hogg and Greta, they're using children. Because children play on your heartstrings. Like when they want to pass a law or something, like with the federal bombing or the Waco incident, they'll highlight how many children died, and that's to make you emotional. When you're reading this, you're like, oh, children died. Oh, it's awful. We need to do something. We need to do something, man, to stop the children from dying. They actually murder our children to pass laws. This is our society, by the way. We have a large public that is very ignorant about public affairs and very susceptible to simplistic slogans by candidates who appear out of nowhere, have no track record, but mouth appealing slogans. How dare you! People are dying! How dare you! See what I mean? See what I mean? They tell you all this shit. They tell you what they're doing. First Global Revolution, Club of Rome, United Nations think tank, book, Alexander King, Bertrand Schneider, 1991. I think it might have been, is the first edition? Okay, 91. Oh, it's, follows up earlier, 1972 works. Okay, Limits to Growth, right. All right. So in this book, they say, because of the sudden absence of traditional enemies, new enemies must be identified. In searching for a new enemy to unite us into a new world order, we came up with the idea that pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine, and the like would fit the bill. All these dangers are caused by human intervention, and it is only through changed attitudes and behaviors that they can be overcome. The real enemy then is humanity itself. So, they want to make humans the enemy. We're the bad guy. We have to change the way we live our lives to save the world. And damn, we need some propaganda out there in Hollywood to make people think humans are evil.
But it turns out Ferngully is under attack by one of the worst animals the planet has ever known. Man.
Yes, man. Human in shape but satanic in spirit, man likes to spend most of his time destroying things because he is worse than the devil if he was a pedophile. You can spot these especially bad ones by having two-dimensional personalities, being written horribly, and having a chin size that even Bruce Campbell would be jealous of. They kidnap animals, burn down rainforests, and probably slept with your mother. If you should see man anywhere in your neighborhood, please make a pretentious animated feature with confused morals and no sympathetic three-dimensional villains. Man, if there's anything worse, it's not human.
But they hear a noise in the distance, a horrible, terrible sound. What could it possibly be? Man.
Yes, man. Man would sodomize your hamster if he could with a...
Okay, we know the drill. Let's just see who these guys are.
I want you to forget this place.
What was it really, Cornelius?
Man.
Yes, man. Man has always... No. You know what? I'm sick of it. I'm tired of putting man down all the time. What the hell is wrong with you people? Hell, I like man. I'm a man. And I don't like how we always have to say what a bunch of assholes we are. Hey, you know what's dangerous? You know what's really threatening to everybody? Animals. They eat people, have sharp teeth, and carry several diseases. If you should stay away from anything, stay away from them. Look at this poor woman. She's doing... God, I don't know what, but the lion doesn't like it. Animals, evil, bad, want to kill you. They don't make films about what a bunch of dicks they are. They just fucking eat you. Animals, you better eat them before they eat you. Look at that, right the fuck out of nowhere.
You fallen for some man?
Yes, man. Man, the thing you base all your decisions around, the thing you change your whole identity for, the thing around which you base all major life decisions. Man, they're better than you, so why not get one? If you don't have one,
Hey, we're not stealing that bit too.
Yeah, so basically this guy reviews old movies from like the 90s and shit on his YouTube channel. And there's a recurring theme where all these movies try and make man is all evil and destroying nature, right? And like nature is pure and innocent and good. Everything nature is good, but then man and technology and society is bad. So they brainwash this into us through the movies. Like I played Captain Planet, a lot of stuff. Also, like the climate change tried to make the polar bear like their fucking spirit animal or something, or like their mascot. So in the 90s there was all these polar bear commercials from Coca-Cola, and what they were doing was they were was it called anthropomorphizing polar bears? Is that the right word? Where they're giving polar bears human-like qualities. So people were identifying with these polar bears, right? Through these like
not be so
Coke commercials.
We should have brought the cup sitter, but she said no.
So they get people to identify with the polar bear. It's cute, it's cuddly, and then they came out with climate change is killing the polar bears. So like once they've got us to love the polar bear, then they tell us that climate change is killing the polar bears and that we have to do something to save the polar bear. Again, playing on our emotions. Do you see how it all works? She is a demon. Exactly, Shroomy. Yeah, and guess what? The polar bears are thriving. That was all a fucking lie. And tons of lies, propaganda articles. Let's see here. Polar bears. There was one about swim like 60 miles. There was one, yeah, there's something about polar bears have to swim all these yeah, see? climate change forcing polar bears to swim longer distances, but the truth is, like, they typically swim long distances, like it's normal, but they yeah, this is all lies. But yeah, they use the Coca-Cola commercials to make people relate to polar bears as if they were humans or something, and then yeah. So fuck, that's pretty much all I got. Those are my climate change arguments. Feel free to use them on other people. Thank you for your time, and go to hell. Oh wait, not aliens from hell. That's another thing. That's another thing.
Nobody touches us at all. Shout out, shoot out, spread fear of it without us. Living that attack, what's off the wheel? Spread the word throughout the land. They say, bad guys, we're black. We're taking cancer, man. You see us coming, and you all together run for cover. We'll take it over this town. Here it comes, reach for your gun, and you better listen well. My friend, you see, it's best now, down below. Aim at you when the devils come out. Tears down again, we want. They talking no tall tales, but just I knew your doom would come me out when the devils come out. Sleep. Oh, this is the village, so I should see, but better not take it out on me, cause your sound is found where your city used to be. So out of the darkness and into the light, sparks fly everywhere inside from our double barrel 12 gauge. Can't lock me in your cage. You see us coming and you all together run for cover. We'll take it over this town. Here it comes, reach for your gun, and you better listen well, my friend. You see, it's best now, down below. Aim at you when the troubles come out. Tears down, again we war. Ain't talking no tall tales, friend, cause I knew your two were coming me out with the cowboys from hell.
Nigga!